What's up? What's going on, everybody? And welcome to Happy Hour. This is the show that's new every time, and it's very, very exciting. I am, of course, your host, Brandon Hanna, and I am joined by a Schmodown legend himself. There's a rule named after him. You know him, you love him. It's JTE.
Hey, what's up, Brandon? I have such bad lighting. Look at this shadow on my shoulder. Look at his hand. Look at his hand go up. If my film school teacher saw me today, he would just tear me a new one. That's not good 3-point lighting. I got to work on that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't mind it at all, you know, but hopefully the fans at home don't give you too hard of a time. But thank you so much for being here.
It's a film noir kind of look. You know, all these shadows are motivated by my character and where I am with life right now. It's very cinematic.
It's 100% intentional, you know.
Exactly.
There's symbolism there.
Thank you.
But no, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. I'm so happy to have you here and just talk movies, what's going on in the world of cinema, latest movie news. I mean, it's been quite a crazy few months without the theaters being open and not having too much to talk about.
A lot are opening up, like starting this week, especially where I'm located. Like I think this Friday, a lot of theaters are opening up. Of course, there's going to be social distancing and all that stuff, but I know I hear people say like, I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to go back. I'm going to be back. I will be seeing Tenet in a huge IMAX screen. It's been the longest that I can remember in my lifetime. I have gone without going to the cinema. Listen, I feel confident that I'll be a few seats away from anybody. All the seats here are like, they're kind of like sofa lazy boy seating. So it's not like I'm like shoulder to shoulder with somebody. If someone starts coughing throughout the whole movie, then maybe I'll get a little freaked out. But I don't know, man. I went and saw the interview when North Korea said they were going to like bomb us if we showed that movie. I still went and saw it. I remember me and Alicia Malone actually went and saw it, I think at the same screening. The morning it came out. I will go see. I ain't scared of no coronavirus.
All right. I mean, I could definitely tell your love of movies. It's not going to stop you. I myself, I'm a little hesitant. I think I'll definitely go, but I will definitely be hesitant. Maybe I'll give it a week or two, and like, because to me, I think it's important to make sure like the theaters are practicing, you know, proper cleaning and all that stuff. You know, wiping down the seats properly, spraying disinfectant. Obviously, the social distancing between the seats is a given. We're definitely going to get that.
Totally.
If they require people, I don't know if they're going to require people to wear their mask while they're watching the movie.
No.
No.
Because they're still going to want to sell them that popcorn.
Yeah,
how are you going to eat that popcorn if you're wearing a mask?
That is very true.
What you do is, if you're going to see Tenet, you go to like the very first showing. So that way you know there hasn't been 3 or 4 showings. You don't have to worry if somebody cleaned right before you're there. The last person there was the night before. They probably cleaned the theater that night and that morning. You're the first person in that seat for the day. Sit down and watch Nolan, you know, punch you in the face with his cinema.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'll definitely be taking proper precautions. I'll try not to touch too much. I'll make sure I got my hand sanitizer with me, my mask. But yeah, definitely. Christopher Nolan, Tenet. This is an exciting movie. This is a great way, I think, to welcome people back into the theater with a big Christopher Nolan IMAX experience. But we do have the release date. I believe was pushed back 2 weeks from the original release date. And now I'm hearing that there was some disagreements between Christopher Nolan and Warner Brothers about when the movie should be released. Do you have any overall thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, no movie is going to make as much money as it would have when it came out before this. I think it's going to be almost maybe not till Christmas or the beginning of next year where theaters fully get back to where the studios are going to make the kind of money that they're supposed to be making or they were hoping to make. So for me, I totally understand Nolan saying, listen, I don't want to push this movie to May of next year. We were supposed to be in the middle of Ghostbusters by now. We were supposed to be rocking Top Gun Maverick. Like, these were huge movies that did just get pushed a few months. A lot of them got pushed a year. Fast 9 got pushed a whole year. And then Fast 10 got pushed 2 years. It's killing me, the fact that we got all these great movies, these summer blockbusters, are just being thrown far away as possible. I'm glad Nolan is saying, you know what, some movies need to come out this year. Looks like Wonder Woman's still going to come out. Top Gun got pushed to December. Thank God it's still squeezed in by the end of this year. I think, you know, once the appetite, you know, they see the appetite of the moviegoer and how it does. Someone has to break through, and Nolan loves cinema. He loves the theater going experience. He's all about shooting on film, much practical effects as possible. It feels right that he's the one doing this. And also, they're showing Inception July 17th, when his originally was going to show Tenet. And I don't know, man. Part of me thinks like this might be a connected universe, man. Tenet looks like a spin-off of Inception. Guys in suits, guns, time being played with. I wouldn't be shocked if there was like some sort of mention of Inception. I don't think we're gonna get like Leo showing up or anything, but there might be like a talk of like, oh yeah, this isn't the only skill some of our agents have. Some also know how to incept. It'll be like one little line like that, and then boom, you got the Nolan universe.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I think that's something that people were speculating really early on when this film was being announced, when the first trailers were coming out. I mean, I personally would love to see that, at least like have two of his movies like connect, because this does feel like a perfect film to connect with Inception, and then doing a re-release of Inception. It feels like a bit more than a coincidence.
Is Michael Caine in this movie? He's in every Nolan movie, but if he appeared in this one, I'd be like, oh, wait a minute. A little Nolan, a little same character, a little Michael Caine in there. That's the level of like I think we're gonna get of cameo. If somebody Inception actually shows up in this movie, my money's on Michael Caine showing up being the same character. And knowing Nolan, he won't like throw it in your face. It's gonna be subtle. It'll be like a throwaway line almost, and you'll be like, oh, Nolan universe.
Yeah, I think it will be subtle, and they probably won't even say his character name, but maybe you'll see the character name in the end credits, and you'll be like, "Oh, like
yeah, exactly." I need to go on IMDb and study all the names in Inception, because I got to make sure I look out for this.
Yeah, definitely. But so now we're getting Tenet on July 31st. So I mean, that's still like, little less than a month and a half away. So I mean, we'll see. Like, I'm looking forward to going to the theater again. So. Yeah, it might be a risk that I'm willing to take as well.
I'll do it, man.
You got to, right? You got to do it. Be safe, sanitize, wear your mask, protect all those around you. But if you have the opportunity to go out and enjoy it, like as long as you're taking the proper precautions, why not? I think I saw like an article yesterday saying if only 80% of Americans would wear a mask, it would basically eliminate all these spikes in COVID that we're getting right now. So
I feel like I'm still going to the grocery store, and that feels like that would be more dangerous than a movie theater. I think the movie theaters are going to do a much better job of ventilating the air, which is very important. And I'm in a grocery store, I'm grabbing things, I'm holding shopping carts. Like there's a lot more chances of a transfer of germs in a grocery store than sitting in the theater where you're not, you're separated, you have hand sanitizer. I just feel like if I can do grocery store shopping, I can sit in the theater for 2 hours.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, like definitely open it up again, proper precautions. Hopefully we should be good. Yeah. And then I think Tenet is a great way to reinvigorate the movie-going experience for sure. But we also got some more movie news with some casting for this Moonfall. Are you excited for this film at all?
Yeah, in the stupidest way possible. I told you I want to talk about Moonfall because Roland Emmerich, he's this director that at times I really enjoy and I really don't enjoy. I didn't like 2012. No, was it 2012? Yeah, it was 2012. Yeah. I did not like that movie. But you go back to his earlier stuff like Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow. I like The Patriot. That movie it's cheesy at times, but I think Heath Ledger, Mel Gibson. There's just a lot of. It's very much a popcorn movie, and he makes popcorn films. A lot of people did not like Independence Day 2, and I agree, it's not very good. He even came out and said when Will Smith dropped out, they kind of scrambled to keep the movie together, and they probably shouldn't have without Will Smith. But I don't even know if Will Smith would have changed it. But I really liked his last film, Midway. I thought it was a good throwback to the old World War II films like Tora, Tora, Tora. That movie was made for $100 million, and it really feels like the money's on the screen, and that's what he does really well. In a lot of ways, Michael Bay is actually the same way, whether you hate him or like him. His movies know how to use every penny and make sure it's put up on the screen. And I do feel like for the most part, Roland Emmerich does that. And while 2012 was just like a big disaster film, the fact this moon's called Moonfall, and it's literally the moon falling to Earth. And you got Josh Gad, Halle Berry, and they just cast the lead, which is well, my God, I'm blanking on his name. He was in Midway.
Did you say Patrick Wilson?
Yes, Patrick Wilson. Sorry,
okay.
Patrick Wilson, who starred in Midway, who I really liked. Recently Aquaman. Now he's the lead. I think this movie's just gonna be a lot of fun. Josh Gad's gonna play the Jeff Goldblum type character who sees everything coming, but nobody listens to him. I'm not sure who Halle Berry's playing yet, but the moon's gonna fall towards the earth, and I can't wait to see how that happens, why that happens, and how it's gonna play out. It's gonna be dumb fun. I like going to the cinema to see those big effect movies, and while Independence Day didn't really fill that quota for me, I'm hoping Moonfall is dumb enough and fun enough to do that.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Roland Emmerich. I absolutely adore The Patriot.
Nice.
Independence Day, obviously, is a huge. I mean, like, who doesn't recite the Bill Pullman speech every 4th of July?
Yeah,
come on, it's a must. So it's a classic in the silliest way possible, but we all love it. So, but he is kind of hit or miss. I actually didn't hate Independence Day Resurgence.
Me either. Listen, yeah. I'm with you. We are in the minority.
Yeah.
I saw that movie. We did a Schmoes No Show, and the whole crew, RB3, Copster, Christian, Ellis, I think even Ken Napsok came. We all went and saw it together after a showing, because they didn't screen it for critics, which is always a bad sign. And I think I was one of the few people out of our whole Schmoes crew that was like, it wasn't awful. The only person I know who's on my side, I believe, is Clark Wolf. She was one of the lone defenders with me. Again, we're not saying it's a great movie. Me and Clark were like, we don't love it. We're not saying it's great or even that good, but it's passable. And I thought it was passable. There's enough fun, stupid stuff happening where I was like, yeah, I could turn my brain off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it was exactly what I was expecting out of the film. I wasn't expecting anything more than that. So maybe for me, that's why it was easier for me to walk out of the theater somewhat pleased. I know, like, people have a lot of nostalgia for the original Independence Day. So when something's built up in your mind like that so much, the sequel is always going to disappoint. But I'm not saying it's a great movie by any standards, but I was actually really looking forward to a third one if they ever made it, the way the second one ends.
Yeah, it really ends like, see you for the third one. And then Roland Emmerich said in an interview recently that, even though 2 didn't work, he does have an idea for the third, but he's not sure everyone's coming knocking on the door asking for it. But if they ever do, he'll have one ready. But I think it's a long shot because that second one did not make very much money.
Yeah, it's certainly a long shot. And I guess spoilers for this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, the ending of the second film was basically like, we're going to take the fight to them. And it's ridiculous. Like, I so badly just wanted to see like Jeff Goldblum and everyone, and like Brent Spiner, just like literally like going off into space and like taking the fight to them in space. It would have been completely outrageous.
I don't know what that would have looked like or how it would have been like a Battlestar Galactica movie, but Roland Emmerich style. So I'm intrigued. I just don't know if it would have been good.
Yeah, no, probably not. But
but we get Moonfall.
We get Moonfall instead. Moonfall. The moon falling towards the earth. Like,
what do you do? What do you do? I'm guessing it's gonna be a max exodus of Earth, like Noah's Ark, which basically happened in 2012. They had like a Noah's Ark type thing happen. They're going to have to do a Noah's Ark off a spaceship because the moon falls to Earth. There's no saving the planet, my friends. It's a goner.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to ask. What do? You can't blow up the moon. This isn't Armageddon. No. You can't do that. I don't know. They're going to have to.
Can't.
Some sort of, but like, it makes me wonder, like, now, like, there's got to be some sort of big climactic scene in this movie. Are they gonna like if they're gonna try to hop onto like a big spaceship like in Interstellar and leave? How do you make that exciting?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really, again, I have no idea. Like, your guess is as good as anybody else's out there. I can't wait to see just the trailer for this movie.
Yes,
Moonfall.
It'll be great, and I love Patrick Wilson as well. So
great.
We'll see. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. So obviously we haven't had any theatrical releases in a while. So there's been a lot of movies, or at least a good handful, that have gone to streaming that we're going to go to the theaters instead. Have you watched anything during your time at home through streaming that came out recently that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, I think last Friday was a pretty big weekend for video on demand and just streaming. The two big movies for me, and I watched them both back to back. I watched The Five Bloods, and then we went right into The King of Staten Island. Two very different movies. We wanted to start with The Five Bloods, get the kind of the heavier movie out of the way first, and then Staten Island could be more of just a relaxed comedy. It's hard to go from like a comedy to a drama, where I just feel like it's an easier transition. And I really liked both movies. They're very different films. I can't really compare them. I do think Staten Island coasts a lot on the charisma of the actors, Marissa Tomei, Bill Burr, and of course Pete Davidson. But it does feel really long. There's not much of a plot. It's kind of Miranding. It doesn't really go too many places. It's just kind of a slice of life, and you just are thrown into this guy's life, and you're just kind of witnessing it. So there's not a lot to hang on to in that movie, except for the characters. I enjoyed the characters, but the movie could have been shorter, and it could have maybe had a little bit tighter of a script, in my opinion. But I think because the characters and the actors do such a good job, it's worth spending that time with them. Maybe you don't have to spend $20 and rent it right now. Maybe wait for it to be like $6.99, or maybe you wait till it's streaming somewhere. But The Five Bloods is probably one of the best films I've seen this year. Spike Lee is just having like this renaissance in a lot of ways. I've always liked his films, but he could be hit or miss for me, especially in the past like decade or so. But man, BlacKkKlansman followed by this movie, that is a 1-2 punch. And he's really saying something with both these films. And to me, Delroy Lindo, his performance is probably the best performance I've seen all year. Like, hands down. I don't know who else I would even compare him to. Now, is that partly because we haven't got a lot of movies? For sure. But he is so good, and he's always been a great actor. Even back when you watch The Cider House Rules and some of the earlier films of the 90s and early 2000s, he always brings it. Ransom, with the Ron Howard film, he really brings it in that film too. But I love seeing a character actor like this who gets a chance to just really show you what he's made of. A lot of ways kind of remind me of J.K. Simmons and Whiplash. You always knew J.K. Simmons was great. He was always a great character actor and had, great roles. But like that movie said, you know what? We're going to give you the keys, and you're going to show everybody what you're really made of. And Delroy Lindo, that's what The Five Bloods is for him in this movie. It's taking this actor we all know, we've all seen be great, and give him the platform to really show us what he has.
Yeah, I have yet to see The Five Bloods, so I definitely I have to check it out soon for sure. Especially if it's as great as you're saying it is.
It's really good.
Yeah, but I did see The King of Staten Island, and I actually really loved it. I guess so it might actually be my favorite film of the year.
Okay, well, have you seen Big Time Adolescence?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's on Amazon, or no, it's on Hulu. If you have Hulu, you could watch it. It's the film Pete Davidson did before this, and it's a very similar character. Very similar character. You could almost see like how both characters could be twins. And while he's a supporting character in that movie, I think that movie does a similar thing with a character like he is in Staten Island, and does a better job. And I just think the movie overall is better. So I think after watching that film just a couple weeks ago, I couldn't help but compare Staten Island to it. So I would be curious for you to go watch that movie and tell me if you still feel the same way, or if you feel like maybe like I do, maybe because you saw Staten Island first, you're like, oh, this is kind of a retread and this is a very similar character. But I do think Big Time Adolescence, in my opinion, is a better film. But again, is that the case because I saw it before the other movie? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely have to watch that as well and do that comparison. And like I said, I think it'll be interesting having seen Staten Island first, what I think of Adolescence. But for the time being, I will say, going into the last few months of not having the theater going experience, The Invisible Man was my favorite film of the year.
Really good.
So absolutely loved it. But so for me, this is right up there with it. I can agree. Maybe you could have shaved 20 minutes off the movie. It was a bit on the long side, and I could see some people having issues with that. But for me personally, like you said, it was very character driven, and it was done so well that for me, I really enjoyed being with these characters, spending time with these characters, and I could see a lot of myself in these characters. I found them very relatable, and I just felt it was a very like honest and like true representation of like the human experience in a lot of ways. So for me, it hit those notes as a film for me. So I really enjoyed it, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll definitely have to go check out Big Time Adolescence and see how it compares for myself. But for the time being, I think it's right up there with Invisible Man. It might be my favorite film of the year.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I remember asking some friends, being like, "What are your favorite movies of the year so far?" And you really had to go back and be like, "What came out this year?"
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Invisible Man. I think the very last 10 minutes I have some issues with, but it's hard. You know, those last 10 minutes ruin the movie? No, it's still really well made. You know, low budget horror film that really does some really interesting and cool things with a story that you kind of already know. I love the twist he put on it. I really like The Gentleman. Have you seen The Gentleman?
I have seen. I really enjoyed it as well.
I really enjoyed that movie. I think Matthew McConaughey, it was a great role for him. I thought Colin Farrell just steals every scene he's in. I just really enjoy that movie. I don't know if it's my favorite movie of the year, but it's one of the most enjoyable movies I saw this year. And I rewatched it again recently, and I still had a blast watching it. And I'm looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun. I saw that movie with Janine the Machine from the Movie Trivia Schmodown, and right afterwards we were both like, because there's like a lot of like whiskey and like Wagyu steak in that movie. Afterwards, we were immediately like, "Do you want to go to Yard House and just get steak and whiskey?"
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
I mean, depending on what you do with your spare time, the movie might make you want to do something else. But
yeah,
but yeah, I just think I'm very hit or miss with Guy Ritchie. I did not like King Arthur. I haven't liked many of his films lately, so this really felt like a return to form in a lot of ways for me.
Yeah, I can see that he is kind of hit or miss for me as well, but this might be up there as one of my favorites of his.
Totally.
But I do have a question. The Colin Farrell's character in the film, a lot of people, including myself, compare him to Tom Dagnino.
I said it in the theater. I went to my girlfriend. I said, "Does that look like that? This guy looks and acts kind of like Tom, like 110%." I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, I started seeing that on Twitter and other people saying it. I was like, okay, it wasn't just me, because 100%, yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, like I said, I was watching it with Janine, and at the time we were just laughing hysterically in the theater. Like, I'm sure there were people around us going like, "Why are they laughing? This isn't that funny." But we're like, it's Tom. It's exactly him. There's even a moment in the film where he like throws up 4 like this and like does a face, and that's like, to me that's him throwing up the Horseman sign. So it was just that was the one that really got us. But yeah. But you do a show with Tom now on Wednesday nights, right?
Yeah, we do. It's called Ask Gucci. It's kind of like our version of Dear Abby, where people used to write in and get life advice. And we have a guest on every week, a female guest usually, and we just kind of go over whatever people want to ask us. It's very ridiculous. It's almost never about movies. It's really about, what do I do in this situation? You know, help me with this life kind of situation. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's on Gucci's channel, the Finstock Exchange, and it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. I love anything. Anytime I get to work with Tom, it's always a blast.
Yeah, for sure. For anyone interested in checking it out, what time does it air?
So let's see. That'd be 9:00 Pacific time.
Okay. All right. So 9:00 Pacific time. Definitely check that out. I think tonight you guys have Sabrina Ramirez on.
Yeah, we got Sabrina. She was supposed to be on a couple weeks ago, but scheduling things kind of happened. So I'm excited to have her on the show finally.
Yeah, no, she's great. She was actually my first guest on this show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'll be in the live chat checking out this ridiculous show that you guys do. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Bad Boys for Life, that also came out this year, right?
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with that movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. It was for me, it was better than I thought it would be.
True. Yeah, it's always weird, you know. I was a little hesitant because Michael Bay is such part of the DNA of those first 2 movies. Like, when you think Michael Bay at the most Michael Bay and at some of his best, I think of the Bad Boys films. So I was really worried, you know, when you take that away, are you still going to have a good film? I think it was a really good film. It was a more mature film in a lot of ways. And I think the action is really good. But like I watched Bad Boys 1 and 2 right before seeing 3, and the action in 2 is like nonstop from beginning to end. And I think, that's not how I would describe the third film. And I think that's for better and worse in some ways. I think in some ways, I watch the third film, I'm like, oh, this is a better told story. But did I always go to Bad Boys for really better told stories? No, I kind of went to Bad Boys for a Michael Bay, just unfiltered film. And so in some ways, it was missing that Michael Bay flavor, even though it had a Michael Bay cameo. But I still really enjoyed it. And I think Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, those guys are great together. And the action was good. It's just not wall-to-wall action like you probably would expect after watching those first 2 films.
Yeah, I can definitely see how you feel that way. For me personally, I really enjoyed it. It might actually be my favorite of the 3.
Yeah,
just because tough. Yeah, I mean, just because maybe like you said, like it does focus a little more on the story element and the characters more than the action. And I felt they did a really good job of that. And I actually really did enjoy the action in this movie as well. I felt like every character kind of had their moment at some point in time, especially during the third act. There's the final action sequence, and I felt like there was a little bit of a spotlight on every single character where they all had their like action moment, like their own little set piece, even if it was just for like a brief moment. So I really appreciated that. The way it was shot, I thought was really well done. And of course, it sets up for a 4th one. So we're definitely going to be getting that now.
They did the Expendables 3 thing where they bring in the new younger team. And that just doesn't always work for me. I like when I saw Expendables 3, I was like, I don't care about Ronda Rousey and these other guys. Like, we're here for the old school dudes. When I go to Bad Boys, I want a Martin Lawrence, Will Smith action film. I get you're introducing this new team. It almost feels like they're trying to give like a Fast and Furious vibe to it. And that section didn't work for me as much. I get why they did it. They're thinking franchise. They're thinking sequels. But what I think I like about those first 2 films is it's just Will and Martin. And there's some characters with them, but they never overtake the story. Whereas this one, they really feels like at times they injected them into this story. And I still think Bad Boys 1 is probably my favorite of the 3, but that's just my taste.
Yeah, for sure. So with this one being Bad Boys for Life, what on earth are they going to call the 4th movie?
Bad Boys Ride or Die? I don't know.
You already used up your 4. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I know. That was a mistake.
Yeah, but no, definitely excited for the 4th one. I'll definitely go to the theaters to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What other movies came out on streaming? I know at the very beginning we had like Trolls World Tour was the big one that was making the news.
Skipped. Never saw the first Trolls movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else came out streaming wise. I know there's got to be more.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm like digging. I think the problem is I've been watching so many like TV shows and just older films. I've gone back and rewatched some classics that I feel like the ones that came out on streaming, like besides, like I said, The Five Bloods, Big Time Adolescence was one I was really looking forward to, and I was glad when that came out. I'm not sure what else came out, man. Nothing on top of my head rings a bell.
Yeah, me neither. So maybe we'll think about it for a minute. But you mentioned you went back and watched some old movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
Anything that you really enjoyed revisiting or seeing for the first time?
Let's see. I went back. I rewatched The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman. I hadn't seen that in a while. I really enjoyed that. Still holds up really well. And some of the filmmaking in that, knowing the context of when that movie was made, some of the filmmaking in that is you could see how it's kind of groundbreaking. And I can't help but think that Wes Anderson loved The Graduate growing up because it really does have a Wes Anderson vibe to it, or I should say Wes Anderson has a Graduate vibe in a lot of his films. So I really enjoyed rewatching that. I've been going back and watching some movies that like I remember not loving, but have had some cult status. I rewatched Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick. Haven't seen that in maybe 15 years. Very interesting movie. Kubrick, even if you don't like the film, you can sit back and just soak in the filmmaking. The way he moves the camera, the way scenes are just the way like a certain scene is laid out when it comes to actors and how they enter and exit a scene. It's fascinating to watch it. I don't love the film, but I appreciate it a lot more than I did back in the day. I went on a little Tom Cruise kick for a little bit there. I started rewatching Mission Impossibles. I watched Far and Away, which was one of Ron Howard's earlier films, which was like this big epic with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise about immigrants coming to America and the Oklahoma land rush. Like it's cheesy as hell, but I still enjoyed the hell out of it. That's one of those movies I watched a lot as a kid, and I was like, I want to watch that again because I haven't seen it in a long time. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been going back to watching these movies that I haven't seen in a long time, and I either loved them or I just remembered them and not remembering if I liked them or loved them. And that's always fun because I think sometimes people see a movie and they go, "Oh, I didn't like that movie," but that was 15 years ago. You know, maybe there were some things you liked about it, and your taste changed when you watch more films, and when you take in more films, you just see things differently. So for me, it's always great to go back and watch some films, not just the classic, but the movies that maybe didn't work for you, or some things worked for you and some things didn't, and kind of re-examine it. I think it's a really smart thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember, like even with like silly movies, that could be the case. The first time I saw Talladega Nights: The Ballad of Ricky Bobby,
I love it.
Like the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, like it was good, it's fine. And then I caught it again on TV one day, like a few years later, and I fell in love with it. And now, like every time I see it, I like, this movie is so hilarious. Like, how did I not see this before? So yeah, like definitely taste change. Actually, I love The Graduate as well. That's a movie for me that's like kind of timeless, where like it takes place like, you know, how many years it's been now, like 60 years ago almost.
So like, long, yeah.
But it almost feels like it could be in the modern day, because like the characters, I do find them to be very relatable, and like there's just certain things that never change no matter what decade you're in.
Yeah.
And definitely, like, you know, like coming of age and all that kind of stuff. It hits all the right notes for me, for sure. But we do have a suggestion from Jonathan Peck in the chat of Bad Boys Forever for the fourth film.
Yeah, that's another way to throw the 4 in there. Yeah.
It's another way to throw the 4 in there, but I mean, it's really close to Bad Boys for Life, though. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I'm not saying no, but
I think you just lose you missed your chance at numbers. Now you just have to start doing weird titles.
Yeah.
Bad Boys, what you gonna do? I don't know.
I'm in. We also have Leo Logan in the chat that said, did anybody see the rhythm section with Blake Lively? Did that end up coming out with VOD?
It just recently, I think it came out on VOD. It just came out, I think, like a week or two ago on Blu-ray. I have not seen it. I heard not good things. That's something I might watch if there's literally nothing else on and it's streaming somewhere, but I don't know if it's one of those movies I will go out of my way to watch. Unless somebody I trust comes to me and says, you really should check this out, it's underappreciated. That's the only time I check something out that I'm not really interested in.
Yeah, I'm about the same way. It's really hard to get me to watch a movie sometimes, especially one that I'm just not interested at all. But every once in a while, you miss one.
Yeah, you know what? I'll throw a movie I watched last night, Underwater, with Kristen Stewart. A solid sci-fi little horror movie that if I was a kid and I was up late one night and it was on HBO, I would have a blast. And I don't think a lot of people saw that movie. It came out in January. I think it kind of got, came and went, but it's out on demand right now. You could rent it. I recommend, if you want a little creature feature with a really good production value and really impressive filmmaking in a lot of ways, I highly recommend checking out Underwater. I think it's a nice little hidden gem that is being lost right now.
All right. No, that's a great suggestion. I haven't seen it, but I remember when I was seeing the trailers, I was like, oh, I would actually like to see this movie, but I wasn't interested enough to force myself to go to the theaters to see it. Totally. But now, based on your recommendation, I think I'll definitely check it out.
I think it's totally worth it. For $5, why not?
Yeah, why not? And Jonathan Peck actually brings up a streaming film here. He says, have you seen Extraction starring Chris Hemsworth on Netflix?
Yeah, that was a big one that came out during this whole quarantine. The guy, first time stunt director, directed it. This guy who worked on, I think, on like Civil War and stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like I didn't love it as much as some of the hype that was going online. Yes, the action scenes are pretty awesome. But the movie is so like been there, seen that before, that there was really nothing for me to hang on to. There wasn't like even an ounce of like originality. Like I just feel like I've seen that character, I've seen the story so many times that when the action sequence were happening, I could appreciate them for it. But once the action scene stopped, which I'll give it some credit there, it's pretty much wall-to-wall action. I couldn't really get invested in the story too much. So appreciate it for the action. As far as the story-wise, it never really grabbed me. But I mean, listen, it's on Netflix. It didn't cost me anything. I'm glad I watched it. So it's, I can't blame them. It's not like I can complain. I think it's an easy watch.
Yeah. All right. That's another one that I've missed.
Me personally.
Yeah. I miss a lot. Like me personally, when I'm not studying for the Schmoedown, obviously there's a huge Inner Geekdom tournament going on right now that I gotta prep for. But every once in a while I need to like just watch something silly to like relax my mind again and remind myself that, hey, movies are supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever had that yourself in your experience competing in the movie trivia Schmoedown.
No, here's the thing. I've said this on our shows. I've never studied for the Schmoedown. My whole life has been my study. I've never sat down and been like, oh, I have a match coming up this weekend. I really need to sit down and study. It's never had to do it. If I know it, I'm going to know it. So when it came to Schmoedown, I never really studied. So for me, but I love putting on a dumb movie. Listen, I love Taxi Driver. I love Shawshank. I love all these great movies of cinema. But there's days where I'm just going to throw on Pompeii with Kit Harington and watch a CG volcano and like a cheap Gladiator ripoff for an hour and a half because I just want to sit down with some popcorn and not think about cinema. I just want dumb fun. So I'm totally all about that, man. I throw on a Will Ferrell movie whenever I need to. You have to. I think, a lot of times movies, they don't always have to be, oh, what cinema should I watch today? No, man. Sometimes I just want to watch a dumb movie and turn my brain off and veg out for an hour and a half. And that's why I watch The Expendables.
Yeah, like 100%. So for me, I've been in that time when I just want to shut my brain off, I've been revisiting some of the Jurassic Park films.
Well, the first one's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the first one.
It's
but like for me,
downhill.
I do love actually going back and revisiting The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Okay.
And I really didn't like Fallen Kingdom when it first came out. Really didn't like it, but I even went back and I revisited that one. I basically revisited all the worst ones and left Jurassic Park and Jurassic World because like Jurassic World was pretty serviceable in my opinion. It was not bad.
Let me ask you a question. My girlfriend asked me this when we were talking about Jurassic Park. Why has no other studio make any type of dinosaur movie? The closest we got is like Peter Jackson's King Kong. We got that great fight with the T-Rexes and like the Stampede. But why hasn't there been any other dinosaur type movie that's not Jurassic Park? Does Spielberg own dinosaurs? Did he buy dinosaurs? Can he only use dinosaurs? It's not like the technology is only his. We've had all these different kind of movies. Wouldn't you love to see like a R-rated Blumhouse low budget movie where it's just like a group of teenagers trying to escape like two raptors? Like I would love to see something like that. Like take some risks with dinosaurs. Give me a cool little dinosaur movie that has nothing to do with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you because like that's honestly like whenever I even put those movies on, I'm just like I just want to watch dinosaurs right now.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing this. And don't get me wrong, in Jurassic Park 3, all the ridiculous like one-liners from Sam Neill as Alan Grant as he's running from dinosaurs also gets me as a guilty pleasure. But the dinosaurs themselves is the draw for me. So yeah, I don't get it either. I wonder if there's something similar going on for like what the Lord of the Rings did for fantasy films, where people were just like, well, like they're not going to be as good as Lord of the Rings, so I don't want to go watch it.
But that's why I'm like, if you do
a similar thing there.
But if you do a Blumhouse R-rated dinosaur movie, like you don't have, it could be like Jaws. You don't get to see dinosaur that much. It's just a lot of, noises. Who wouldn't want to go see a R-rated, gory as hell dinosaur movie? I feel like there's like it's counter-programming to Jurassic Park. You're not trying to compete with Jurassic Park. There's just a lot of cool things you can do, and I just feel like the only time we ever see dinosaurs is like Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell, where it's like a cartoon. Like obviously there's nothing realistic about it. I just think there's a lot of untapped potential for dinosaurs out there.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Like, go Blumhouse, go R-rated, and you could even make that a part of your marketing. Like, it's Jurassic Park, but with blood and gore. Like, you could actually like see people get ripped apart, and they show the blood.
Yeah.
And
I gotta start working on the script, man.
Yeah, I think there's definitely
let's pitch it around town.
And I don't know, me personally, I'll see just about anything that Blumhouse produces at this point because it's more hits than misses. I think
if you said, hey, there's a Radar Dinosaur movie coming out, that's all you would have to tell me. I don't have to see a trailer. I don't have to know who's in it. I'm there opening weekend.
Yeah, I'm with you. We also have there's a few more streaming films that we definitely forgot about being brought up here in the chat.
Okay.
Leo Logan asked about Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus. Heard it was really bad.
I have no desire whatsoever to watch that movie. Never will. I'll probably never watch it. Never read the books. I'm like so over YA novels. Like that whole genre is dead, and I'm more than happy.
Yeah, I have no interest either. I think I saw some clip on Twitter the other day with Josh Gad's character, I think, and it was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
It looks horrible.
That's all I need to know.
Yep.
And we also have Leo Logan giving me the release year of The Graduate, 1967. So 53 years to me.
Yeah, I knew it was in the 60s.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know like early 60s, late 60s. I wasn't too sure. And of course, Jonathan Peck also brings up The Lovebirds. Have you had the chance to check that out?
Yeah, it was fine. I think, again, really Kumail, and I can't remember her name, from Insecure. But their chemistry is really good. Their improv is really well. But again, the movie felt like the plot was just there to give an excuse for them to be there. Overall, it was. I watched it. I forgot about it the next day. It's like this, when you think like The Big Sick and some of Kumail's other films. Even Stuber was. I think I enjoyed Stuber a little bit more than Lovebirds, actually, which is sad because both aren't very good in my opinion. Again, I like Kumail. I think he's hilarious. I think the movie gets by on his humor and chemistry with the other actors, but the movies are just, they feel like they're 90s films that were plucked out and thrown in today. And I don't know, Big Sick was so good. And Stuber and Lovebirds feel like throwbacks, but in the worst way in a lot of ways. But again, because he's so good, they're watchable. They're just not really good.
Yeah. Are there any films that you think that are 90s throwbacks but actually work that have come out recently?
Underwater in a lot of ways reminds me of those 90s like movies. Like I used to watch like The Relic, which is a really fun horror film from the 90s. A very simple plot. The thing is, Underwater feels like a 90s kind of plot with like today's kind of filmmaking and, you know, special effects. And I think that's why, like I said earlier, if I was a kid in HBO, if I was 13 years old and this was on HBO one night, I would have had the best time ever. So that film really kind of sticks that like 90s formula, simple, straight to the point, and has a lot of cool creature features in it. I'm trying to think what else 90s throwback.
I know people have compared Venom to like a bad 90s superhero movie.
I wouldn't even say it's bad 90s. It's more like early 2000s, like Daredevil and like Ang Lee's Hulk. It's more like early 2000s bad comic book movie. Basically everything after X-Men and Spider-Man, they're like, we have characters. We could do it too. Because 90s, I mean, Blade was awesome. The Crow was awesome. And I don't think Venom is the level of Spawn bad. So like I'll give Venom some credit. I'll say Venom is stuck in that early 2000s, which makes sense because the producer is the same guy who produced the early Spider-Man films. And you could tell he's like, I need a hit song. Let's get Eminem. I need a love interest, and the plot is ABC. So to me, it's an early 2000s comic book movie. Daredevil's so bad.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff in Venom that I find redeemable. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with Venom 2 or Venom There Will Be Carnage.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be better. It's gotta be better because I think Andy Serkis alone will just make it a better film. Not to disrespect the director of the first one, but outside of Zombieland, I haven't really liked any of his films. Gangster Squad was okay, but with that cast, like I remember when Gangster Squad was coming out, it was like this is gonna be an Oscar contender. This is gonna be the Untouchables of our generation, and it was like really like comic booky and just not what I was expecting.
I
Ruben
think
Fletcher.
I think you saying Gangster Squad is okay is the best compliment I've ever heard about that movie.
Exactly. Like it's one of those movies like, sure, if I turn it on the right scene and Sean Penn's eating the scene, or I could maybe watch it for a little bit, but I'm never going to go out my way to watch Gangster Squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, I guess speaking of like cheesy creature feature type films, we have Brian Nussbaum bringing up The Meg in the chat.
Yeah. Meg was okay.
I did not like The Meg.
Yeah. It's one of those movies. I guess I can't really say it's good because I saw it once. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But I didn't hate my time with it. I wasn't sitting in the theater angry. I just remember it being, honestly, more of anything, I remember being disappointed by it, thinking they didn't live up to potential of what I was like being sold in the trailers. I was like ready to see this thing eat people like Cheerios. Like I just wanted to see him like take a mouthful and eat like 50 people at once. I never really got that. And I feel like, the movie didn't really live up to its potential. But it was competently made. John Turteltaub directed it. Same guy did National Treasure, Three Ninjas. So like I think it was decently made and had some fun moments, but did not live up to the potential of what I was hoping for.
Yeah, same there. That was actually the first movie that I saw in the Cinerama Dome at the ArcLight.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, it's the first movie I ever saw in that theater.
Do you want to know what mine was?
What?
The first Transformers.
Oh.
And okay. I gotta say, I don't think people remember how groundbreaking that first Transformers movies was in a lot of ways for special effects. Like you were kind of like jaw on the ground when that highway scene in the Cinerama Dome. I was like, this is stupid, but looks awesome and is kind of awesome. I still kind of like will stand up for that first the first Transformers movie. It's the only one I own. And no, that's not true because I like Bumblebee. I have Transformers and Bumblebee. Everything in between, you can throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Except, although I don't know, I kind of didn't mind the third Transformers.
I didn't mind the third act of the third, but the first two acts is a drag.
The third one for me was probably the least offensive of all the.
Yeah,
sequels.
I agree. But the first two acts of that movie is, I don't even watch it now. Like if I'm watching that movie, I just skip to the third act. To the Chicago scene.
Yeah, and I think there's a good movie in the fourth one. Somewhere in there, there's a decent movie. But it's like they didn't.
All I see is static when I think about that movie. I don't remember anything out.
Yeah,
I don't remember anything. That movie, I remember just being in the theater like comatose, like white noise. Once Mark Wahlberg joined, it was over. Anything that was left was over for me.
And then
Bumblebee was good.
I even up until this moment forget that the fifth one, the like Last Night, exists at all.
God, that was the worst. I think that was the worst one.
But it just got worse. Yeah, it was so ridiculous though.
So bad.
Like, yeah, almost in like a I'm kind of enjoying this because I have nothing else to watch at home kind of a way. But yeah, no, thank God they got Bumblebee in there to fix it. But
the first three films, like I could be like, at least I can enjoy the effects to a degree. I can enjoy the noise and the bombastic nature of it, but by 4 I was just done. It became nothing but, like I said, white noise. Couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And also Jonathan Peck brings up another movie that felt like a 90s movie, but I don't know if it worked for you. Sonic. How do you feel about Jim Carrey's performance in there? How it works as a film? It
was fine. It does feel like a 90s film in a lot of ways. It feels like, I don't even know what to compare it to from the 90s. Garfield, that was like 2000s probably. For a kid who likes Sonic, I think it's good. But I think for an adult who likes Sonic, there's not, outside Jim Carrey having some good lines, it really just is too much. Been there, done that before. It's like a paint by numbers kind of like, video game movie in a lot of ways. So yeah, I would say, for adults, don't waste your time. If you have kids and they like Sonic, go show it to them. They like it.
Yeah, that's definitely another one that I missed as well. And I was like, kind of like, do I need to really see this movie at all?
If it's on Hulu or Netflix one day, sure, but
Yeah.
don't go out of your way.
Yeah, definitely not. But we did talk about earlier how obviously with theaters not being open for almost like what 2 or 3 months now, if not longer. So many movies have been getting pushed back, not just weeks, not just months, but years. How disappointed are you, if at all, that F9 was pushed back a full year?
I'm not that disappointed. I liked Fast Five. I think it's my favorite by far. I like 6. I really like 7. 8 was kind of a disappointment in some ways. You're in Hollywood. You're only as good as your last movie in a lot of ways. So while I was disappointed, I was looking forward to seeing it because Justin Lin came back. I was more disappointed for movies like Ghostbusters Afterlife. I love that trailer. I love that it's Reitman's son is doing it, Jason Reitman. I love that they got the cast back. I love that it's a continuation. I love that they're, kind of praising and playing homage to Harold Ramis with the character of the child. There's a great scene where you see Egon. Like, that was like, I love Ghostbusters. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. I love that nostalgia. I love nostalgia when it's done well. I love both the Creed movies. I love this. I love Blade Runner 2049. I love we're getting these sequels to these movies I would never thought we would have got sequels to. So the 2 movies I was looking forward to this summer the most, definitely Tenet for original content, but Top Gun Maverick, that trailer was amazing at Comic-Con. And Ghostbusters Afterlife, I was so ready to go back to these 2 franchises. Because listen, I was a champion for that new Ghostbusters film a couple years ago. I was really excited for it because I love the talent and the people behind this camera, but I hated it. I didn't find it funny at all. So I was and I hated that it wasn't a direct sequel. I hated that it was like this weird remake. So I love a continuation of a story. So for me, Top Gun and Ghostbusters, it kills me that Ghostbusters ain't gonna be till next May or something. But thank God I still have Top Gun to look forward to in December.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that Ghostbusters trailer as well. And I feel the same way, the Paul Feig Ghostbusters. I really wanted to love it, especially just because it was getting so much hate right out of the gate. I wanted to be like one of the few people to like really defend it and say, no, like, guys, this is great. But it fell flat for me as well. And it sucks when that happens, when you really want to love a movie and you just have to admit to yourself, like, I don't love this.
Yeah, because there's all that stupid hate for it for no reason. And like, no one should be like that. No one should just hate something for it being made. And Paul Feig had such a great record. I mean, I love Bridesmaid. I love a lot Spy. I love a lot of films he made before that. So I was like, dude, Paul Feig has been killing it. All these actresses in it are amazingly hilarious. So I was on board, man. I was defending that movie till the day it came out, and I saw it in theaters. I said, that was bad.
Yeah. Again, right there with you. But for me, going back to F9 again, Fate of the Furious it's the one that I like the least out of the entire.
The
entire franchise. Like, I don't know what it is. Like,
I don't know about that, but I hear you.
I don't know if it's like nostalgia for like the first 2, but like I like the Too Fast, Too Furious is a film that I've seen like a dozen times just watching it on cable with my dad. So for me, that's one that I go back and I love. And
do you like 4?
4?
I really don't like 4. I really don't like 4.
I think it kind of like serves as like a bridge between 3 and 5.
Okay.
Or 2 and 5, depending on how you want to view the timelines that kind of get a little wishy-washy there. But 4, I don't mind at all. Like, I'll enjoy it if it's on TV. But like 1 and 2, like, have become very quotable for me also, because I have like 2 of my best friends who love both the first and second movie. So we just quote ridiculous lines from it all the time, and it makes it fun for me.
I could not name you a Too Fast, Too Furious quote if you put a gun in my head. I could not give you a quote for that movie. I'm glad you can, your friends can. But to me, like 2 and 4 are probably the 2 weakest ones for me. I actually kind of like Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift's pretty good. And that's like another reason why I ended up being excited for F9, because like Lucas Black's character is returning again. Like he had a brief moment in Furious 7. And now he's back again in F9. And I'm like, oh, please tell me he's actually going to be a part of the team. Because that's another movie that has some dumb quotes too. And like his accent is kind of funny.
Did I have a fever dream? Han is in the trailer, right?
Yes. Han is in the trailer.
Is it a twin brother? Are they to the point where they're cloning people? I have no idea.
Yeah, for me, like one of the reasons why I didn't like Fate of the Furious is like you have Jason Statham's character. He's the guy that killed Han.
I know.
They get over it.
It makes no sense. They try to make it like the bad guy made him do it, but
yeah,
really?
He's like hanging out with Dom's kid, having these cute little moments on this airplane, and at the end they're at like the barbecue. Is like your family now, and all that stuff. And
I'm curious why they would put that in the trailer. Don't you think that would have been a drop the mic moment in theaters? Like why did they drop that in the trailer? There's got to be a reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't know. Maybe they really wanted to get people back, like someone like me who really finds something enjoyable in the first 7 movies and felt like they really dropped the ball with 8. This is kind of like their apology for that. Because like after 8, that was when that whole hashtag justice for Han thing really got started because of how they treated that character. And so now like they show him in the trailer with the hashtag justice is coming. They're like, hey guys, we hear you. We're fixing this.
I want those 2 Spanish guys from Brazil to show back up.
Yeah.
From part 5. Those 2 brothers or whether they were hilarious.
Yeah. So I would love for just all the characters to come back. I remember like speaking of Jurassic Park, I wish they would have done this for Jurassic Park and just called the 5th one Jurassic 5 and just bring back
everybody.
Like bring back Vince Vaughn, Julianne Moore, the 2 kids from the first one.
Jeff Goldblum's daughter.
Yeah.
Did you like Hobbs and Shaw?
Actually, I have not seen Hobbs and Shaw yet.
What? You call yourself a Fast and Furious fan?
I know. I don't know why I've missed it. Maybe I'll watch that one tonight. That'll be the first one of the 3 movies at least that we've talked about that I gotta watch.
Okay.
I gotta be the first one to cross off the list. But I heard it was good.
I will keep silent until you see it. I don't want to I don't want to sway you either way.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. But so yeah. As someone who's disappointed in 8, the trailer for 9 really hooked me. So it sucks that we have to wait a full year.
2 for 10. Yeah, 2 years. We're supposed to get 10 next year. Now we're going to get it in 2022 or 2022. That's insane.
Yeah, we have to be patient, but it's going to be okay.
Thank God for Moonfall.
Yeah, thank God for Moonfall here to save us. But actually, we've got just a couple more minutes left here. But I wanted to, because I've brought up Jurassic Park so much. We have Jurassic World Dominion coming out, I guess. Oh yeah, 1 or 2 years from now.
They just went back to filming it. I think it's got to be next year. They're going to be finished filming it by the end of the year for sure.
Yeah, so like they're talking about they're going back to filming, and I guess they're trying to do all the proper precautions to keep people healthy, but I know there's probably like a little bit of controversy about them starting up again so soon. But for me, I'm excited for this movie, especially as someone.
Colin
Trevorrow's back.
Yeah. I like that Sam Neill's back. Goldblum's back. Goldblum was barely in the last one. Like
what you saw in the trailer at all.
What you saw in the trailer is what you saw. I really did not like 5 at all. Like at all. Jurassic World was okay to me. Like it was fun. It was a fun enough movie for me. So Colin Trevorrow coming back. I'm a little more positive. He did that short film earlier this year. It was the end of last year, which I thought was really cool. Where the family's camping. It's weird. It's gonna be Flintstones. They're basically living with dinosaurs now. I don't know exactly what the plot's gonna be. So I'm real curious to see that first trailer to kind of get a grasp of what they're going for with this one.
Yeah, and like I said, like you said, I'm super excited to have Sam Neill back, Jeff Goldblum back again, hopefully for more than a minute. Laura Dern's supposed to be coming back.
I want them to be back. I want them like
they gotta be the stars of the movie, like standing right next to Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt. They gotta be like right there for me. And I hope they do it. I hope they do it. I feel like Colin Trevorrow like might have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, like after like the way
away from me.
Yeah, like the way Star Wars Episode 9 ended up and his script getting leaked and all the controversy around that. I feel like he kind of wants to like make a statement that says like, okay, JJ Abrams, like that's how you closed out your trilogy. Like this is how I close out trilogies, and I'm gonna nail it.
He's got his game face on.
Yeah, he's got his game face on. I might just be talking complete nonsense right now, but I want to believe it.
I'm rooting for him. I never want to go see a movie and be disappointed. I never want to go see a Jurassic Park movie and not love it.
Yeah.
I did not love Jurassic Park 3. I really did not love Jurassic Park 4. So I'm really hoping 5. I guess one's amazing. One's the best of them all, obviously. I could still watch 2 and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. A lot of people hate the San Diego stuff. I'm fine with that. I think it's cool. I don't love 2, but I still think it's a solid sequel. 3 is for the most part garbage for me. 4, World, I can enjoy it. It's passable. It's cool to see the park up and going. 5 is, again, throw that in the trash also. I'm hoping I could just skip. I'm hoping 5 is good enough where I don't have to ever watch 4. And I'll know enough to just go from World to that one.
Yeah. Like for sure, like if Jurassic World Dominion like really hits it out of the park, then I can forgive Fallen Kingdom. Like I said, I did rewatch it, and this is actually like a little rant that I had on this same show last week talking about it, but I can't stop talking about it for some reason. But I can at least admire Fallen Kingdom because even though I really don't like the direction the story went, I at least acknowledge, because Colin Trevorrow did write it, I at least acknowledge that he knew that he had to stop doing the same thing over and over again and push the story forward. I don't like where it went, but at least it's going forward. So I got to give him credit somewhat for that.
I think I might have tried to rewatch it once and I just got angry and turned it off. So, if I could avoid watching it again, I probably will. Put that way.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I will say,
maybe I'll watch 4 right before 5 comes out just to put myself through it. But man, I remember they got to that damn island. And like 10 minutes later, they're off the island and it blew up. I was like, where's this movie going? Oh, we're going to like a house in the woods for the rest of the movie? Awful. That girl hit the button. So much bad stuff.
They're like me.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Give me flashback.
Yeah. And I'll say also that even though I don't like the script that much, I thought it was beautifully directed by J.A. Bayona.
That director can't make a bad looking movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's capable of it. But man, just story wise, and script wise, and character wise, I didn't agree with anything.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean that we just passed our hour, so that just about wraps everything up here. So guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. If you want to keep seeing content like this, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below. If you want to tell us your thoughts on everything going on in the world of movies right now, do you think Jurassic World Dominion is going to be any good? I sure hope it is. And of course, thank you so much, JTE, for being on the show, for joining us here today. Do you have any last words of wisdom on anything we've been talking about before we end the show here today?
Yeah, just thanks for watching. You see my Twitter down there. You have like this thing where you can shoot me.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Just check me out on Tom's show, Ask Gucci. We'll be showing tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Finstock Initiative. Check out my YouTube channel, JTE Movie Thinks. I have another episode of Franchise Ranked coming up with Video Drew, and we're going to rank the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Oh,
so I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, that's it, man. Thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun. And let me come back when Moonfall comes out, and let's review it together so we could discuss how the moon fell.
Yes, that sounds incredible. I would love to review Moonfall with you. And Nightmare on Elm Street with Video Drew, that sounds awesome too. That's another guilty pleasure franchise of mine for sure, regardless of how bad they are. Although Freddy's Dead might be a little too bad. It might be a little too bad. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you all next week with another guest who I don't know who I'm bringing on yet, but I'll find somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, guys.